Right. Hi. This is me randomly just making a video to, well, pretty much just actually speak everything that I'm feeling right now. Um, my name is Hannah. I am 26 years old. I live in Norwich. I have recently, well, I say recently, July the 1st, I married my amazing husband. And I have two daughters already. One is 6 and the other is 18 months. And I'm also expecting twins, which is not something that either me or my husband were expecting in the slightest. We went for our 12-week dating scan, and literally they asked us, the nice lady asked us if twins ran in either of our families, and as far as we were aware, they didn't. And she was just like, well, you got twins. So I was very much, I kind of believe I was in shock for most of the rest of that scan, bless her. I mostly just remember that all I said a lot of was, I'm going to kill Key, who is a friend of ours, that she's the only person that made the joke of, oh, you never know, you could get twins. So at that precise moment in time, I had no one else to blame. She was the only one that had said it, so she was the person that got my blame at that point in time. She is aware of this, and I have apologised to her since. She just laughs at me. But yeah, so I had another midwife appointment today. She looked through my notes to find out that it was twins, and I don't know, after hearing, I mean, they're seeing them obviously at the scan and all of this, which is what these are the two twins. Because it's so early at the minute, we don't actually know what they are, but I think they're girls, which, I'd feel so sorry for my husband if that's the case, because then there's 5 girls in this house and just him. Yeah, I love him, and he's going to need a lot of patience with us. But yeah, and after hearing their heartbeats today, I suddenly just feel a lot less anxious, because it's been about 2 weeks, I think, give or take, since we found out, and I have been a nervous wreck. I've been imploding. One thing I should say is that I have a tendency to overthink absolutely everything. Every possible scenario, good, bad, ugly, up, down, sideways, I will go through my head. And that is pretty much what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. I've been internalising everything. I haven't really been crying, unless you class crying at random TV shows, because apparently they tug on your heartstrings. Hey, I guess that's a sign of a good TV. But it's definitely been a lot for me to wrap my head around. And I don't know, after hearing their heartbeats today, it's kind of feeling a bit more real. I mean, because I'm at this date, the 3rd of November 2016, I am 15 weeks 6 days. And I don't know, I haven't really felt pregnant yet, as weird as that is. Other people by now, especially with twins, were saying that they felt butterflies and things, like from 14 weeks and things, but I haven't really felt anything like that. I mean, in all truth, I can't remember when I properly started feeling my other two either. But in regards to these two, I haven't really felt anything yet, but I wasn't, I'm not really that worried about it. I mean, I will feel them eventually. There are 2 of them, so they have a lot less space, bless them. So, yeah, I still honestly don't know how I feel about it. My husband keeps saying that this is our last pregnancy now, especially if they're girls. But he knows that I wanted more kids than this, so I guess we'll just have to see how it goes. yeah, I'm getting there. I think I'm slowly getting there. I must admit, this is the first time that I've actually got their pictures out of the little folder case thing that they come in. And it's nice to look at them, to actually have the physical photos in front of me, especially after hearing their heartbeats today. Yeah, that is definitely making me go, that's making my heart have a flutter moment. So yeah, and then I see this picture that she threw in, the sonograph woman, and she threw in a picture of the top of both of their heads, which, in all fairness, I don't know why, but I just look at that and I can't help but giggle. Because I think that's the thing that then makes it so surreal, because it's just like, that's two heads literally right next to each other. So yeah. Suddenly, miraculously today, I'm less imploding, which I'm very thankful for. A part of me is really nervous about when they come still, more just because they are due in April, and our youngest's second birthday is the end of April. So she won't even be 2 when they are born. And both of my girls are immense attention seekers. However, our eldest very much will upside to being 6. She's more comprehending of the, no, sweetie, can you let mummy do this, please? Or let daddy do this, and then we can get back to whatever it is in regards to it. And the amount of I love yous that just get thrown around this house, literally just because it's, I can't help you right now, I love you, give me 2 minutes. But thing is, she'll even say it to us. She'll literally just randomly come up and go, mummy, I love you, and give me a hug and run off. So, I like that. It makes me feel good. But yeah, it's more our youngest that I'm worried about. She has a tendency of beating her sister up, who's 5 years older than her. But our youngest doesn't like our eldest getting in, like, her face and in her little space. And yet our eldest still does it. So it's kind of shame on her. But yeah, so I think she'll be all right. She'll get there. It's just, it'll be a learning curve for everyone in this house, which, I don't know. If it was a singleton pregnancy, then it kind of feels like it might have been easier. But I guess it still wouldn't have been easier, because you never know the kind of child you're going to get. So I never know, just because these are twins instead of a singleton, it could be that they still are the easiest babies, and that they both instantly have their own routine and life is simple. But that's probably a bit too much wishful thinking. So yeah, I know we can get there. In all fairness, I've got the strangest feeling that this isn't going to feel real until I'm holding them. When both of them are in my arms and I'm looking down at them, and I'm actually having to then figure out life with both of them, I think that's when it'll all sink in, when everything will fall into place, for good or for bad. It'll sort itself out, and everything can happen however it's supposed to. I hope it's supposed to happen well. There's this lady that I found on YouTube, and she actually said something that actually really did help as well. She said that that this happens for a reason, because obviously naturally occurring twins are a rare, well, twins in general are a rare occurrence anyway. So that I was chosen to do this, to experience something that very, very few women do. Yeah, that, I don't know, it didn't give me a sense of pride, that would be too boastful, but a sense of calm, I guess. Knowing that, okay, yeah, I can do this, which that definitely was a first feeling for me. She also said have grace, which is definitely something I need to remember. Regardless of this pregnancy, it's something I need to remember with my own kids and my own temperament as well, because I have a tendency of taking everything way too seriously. My poor husband tries to make me laugh, and I literally no. I think I probably end up biting his head off, and then I feel guilty that I've bitten his head off. So, yeah. But yeah, so I feel a lot happier about it today, which is a nice thing. And now I'm just waiting to find out anything and everything about it all, because I don't know that many people that have had twins. I probably have a few more people in my circle than other people, because I know at least 3 mums that I actually can call on that have had twins, which is probably a few more than most other people can say. So they've been an amazingly godsend. They've been amazingly. I had a lot of help. And then, yeah, I have to have more scans, which probably didn't help with the nervousness right away. I've got to have scans at 16, 18 and 20 weeks, which are already booked in. Because one thing that these 2 little beauties are is identical twins, which is another scary set of prospects all in their own right. How am I going to tell them apart? But yeah, so they are, my midwife was able to actually fill in the blanks, because I remember the sonograph lady saying that they shared the same placenta, but then after that I can't remember much. I went into shock and blaming chemo. But yeah, and it's that they do share the same placenta, but it's not as high risk as it could be, because they have their own sacs. So that has also again been another little moment. So I'm just staring at their pictures going, you're growing inside of me. And they're bigger than when those pictures were taken, because those pictures were taken 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I literally have a week. This time next week I will have been to our 16-week scan. I will be 16 weeks and not 1 day. I'll be 16 weeks and 6 days. And a part of me is tempted to be cheeky and ask the sonogram person, whoever it is that does the scan this time, if they're able to see what sex they are. Because I would just like as much forewarning as I can. I think my husband would like a bit of forewarning too as well. But it's also because our eldest, she asked this with her sister's pregnancy, but of course we had to reiterate, we can't choose, sweetheart. And she's asking with this one as well that she really wants a baby brother. I'm not sure how I deal with boys, but that's mostly just for the fact that I've never had to raise a baby boy. So obviously once I have to, it'll be fine. It'll be less daunting, it'll be less shocking. They're my babies, it'll be fine. But the idea of doing it because I haven't done it, can't really picture it. So yeah. But then obviously, because then it will give her time to adjust to either, yay, I get brothers, which means we'll have a hyperactive child bouncing off the walls for a few months, or, oh, but I think it's girls, but I could be entirely wrong. Just have no way of knowing. Or it could be one girl, one boy, and then both of us are happy. I've seen a few things on Facebook today about our heartbeat theory, which personally I don't really hold much credence in, because some people were saying that if their heartbeats sound like a train, then it's boys, and if it sounds like hooves beating, then it's girls. However, to me personally, listening to both of my girls' heartbeats, because I know for a fact that I have a video of my eldest, both of their heartbeats to me just sound like train tracks, and they are quite obviously girls. So I don't know what to think about that. There were loads of people saying that yes, it's worked for me, and all of this, But yeah, I guess obviously it's really a 50-50 chance. There's always old wives' tales, like holding a pendulum over your belly and finding out. And I think if it goes in a straight line, then it's one, or if it circles, then it's the other, or something like that. I honestly don't know. So yeah, that's one reason why I want to find out, because then we can give her as much forewarning as well. We told her literally the first day of half term just gone, and I deliberately had not told her before half term because I knew her reaction was adorable. I have a video of that as well, and she was just literally, she was bouncing, and I was like, well, look behind that picture, and then she saw another one and she was like, twins. And I don't know why, but a part of me was actually astounded that she knew what twins were, which a part of me feels guilty for, because I'm just like, that's really undermining your daughter's intelligence. But yes, and then literally she's bouncing off the walls for like half an hour afterwards, I swear. But then, because it was the first day of the half term, she had the whole week to calm down and not be as ecstatically OTT as about it, and let the realisation of it sink in. And then school started, and as I hoped, she hadn't gone round to everyone screaming at the top of her lungs, Mum's getting twins, Mum's having twins. So a part of me was very thankful for that, because as much as I'm making this video, yeah, it's not, I don't know, there are very few people on the school run that I talk to. Don't get me wrong, I'll talk to most of the mums and things, but there are very few that I know well enough to say that this is something that I'd want, like, talked about, if that makes sense. So yeah, in all fairness, there was only one person on the school run that I actually wanted to tell, and I told her, so that made me happy. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I've been feeling. I've been imploding a lot. Actually, no, I think imploding is pretty much the word that sums up my last 2 weeks. So yeah, I've been imploding and stressing and worrying and overthinking and wondering what on earth could go wrong, what on earth could go right. Because I will admit, the first thing that came into my mind was that I was going to have a C-section. And truth be told, the idea of that terrifies me. It has always, never mind just with twins, it did even with my girls. The idea of being conscious, knowing and feeling that someone is poking and pulling at you, but not being able to see it, and then just being given this baby. No, the idea of that, let's just say I've never been able to wrap my head around it. Yeah, that fills me with an absolute sense of pure dread. So that is literally where my brain went, that I'd have, that, well, no, I lie. Two things went through my head. That A, I wouldn't last till 40 weeks. And that B, I would have to have them by cesarean section. And both of those things seemed a little sad to me. Well, I lie. One of them seemed a little sad. The other one seemed terrifying. But my midwife was saying that because of the births that I had with my other two, and as long as twin A is engaged normally with head down and everything when my labour starts, then she doesn't see any reason, as long as the pregnancy progresses healthily and properly, why I can't give birth normally. Which, again, is probably another reason why I feel a lot better today. So I guess I'll just have to wait and see how all these scans go and how these two miraculous jelly beans grow. And take it 1 week at a time, one scan at a time. And just, yeah. So, yeah. I probably will make another video next week, after my first scan at the twin hospital. See how big they are. Hope they're growing okay. That was my husband coming home. And yeah, let me know if there's anything you want to ask me, and bye.